Yes.
Okay. So let me start over. My name is Iranza, and I'm with the fabulous, anointed, visionary woman of God, my mother, Reverend Gloria Walton, who is also the founder of Mothers and Daughters, also the Most Excellent Way. Um, this came about just one day, a conversation with my mother, and she had said something extraordinary, and it blew me away. And I was like, Mom, you have to share this online. And so this is our second conversation. We got a lot of feedback, positive feedback, and people have said you need to do another one. We want to do another one. So here we are on our second mother and daughter candid conversation. I have no idea what we're gonna talk about, Ma, but there is something that I don't know how this is gonna go, but um, disappointments, right? Because mothers and daughters, one of the biggest um, parts of the mother and daughter organization is about reconciliation. And so disappointments, how to handle and deal with disappointments between a mother and daughter, because with our relationship, I have noticed now that I'm older, we have went through different stages in our relationship, in our friendship, right? And I'm pretty sure that, you know, in any relationship, there are some disappointments. And um, I wanted to go over real quick. What is, I know, give us a little, well, give the viewers a little background of your profession, first of all. How long have you been a social worker? What are your professional, background?
Um, do I have this? I don't really want to talk about what my professional background was. I retired.
Okay. But the reason why, because I wanted to, like, you know what you're talking about because of your experiences. Like, as this conversation goes, in my mind, to share your experiences with reconciling and dealing with the mothers and reconciling them back to their children, and what had to, like, the point of healing to bring them back together, dealing with disappointments and hurts. That's why I had said that.
Oh, okay. Well, um, I worked for the state's, we've had so many names, Child Protection and Permanency Agency. That's where I retired. So I'll keep it simple by saying that I worked there many years and in different positions, but as a field investigator, seeing the tragedy of children being abused and parents just going through such difficult times because of finances, because of stress, drugs, health. Those were very, that was a learning time for me. And I got to see and to understand how, I'm not co-signing child abuse, that's absolutely not. But I did come to understand some of the stressors that parents have. And had I never worked for them, being a parent, I understand the stresses of trying to raise children. I mean, I only had one biological, but you know, we had a house. My niece and my nephew, I didn't give birth to them, but they were my babies. They lived with me for 10 years. And so the reconciling, I much rather talk about reconciling their mothers and their children's relationships.
Right. That's where I want to go.
Oh, okay. Well,
no, that's where I want to go.
You didn't say that.
I'm sorry. Well, because in my mind, right, there were different stages between me and you, right? I think, and just talking to my girlfriends, I have a girlfriend who have kids. There's different stages between a mother and daughter. You have this is my princess stage, right? And then you have this teenage stage. I remember one time, preteens, you was like, I don't know who you are, but I need you to bring my child back. Remember that?
Yeah.
You have that. You have that stage. You have the young adult stage as a woman, and I think the stage where I am now, there was a point where I look back and it's like bringing some understanding of certain things you have said, certain ways you have did things I had to, as an adult, understand.
Mm-hmm. Most children do, because you don't understand your parent growing up. So that's not a unique thing. Personally, I can remember, mommy saying things, and I was like, oh, what is she talking about? And had she only been able to read my mind, you might not have a mom. But I read a book that I think speaks to what you're talking about, and I just can't think of the author. I guess I need to be asking in advance, what will we be talking about? So that I won't state that I know. Okay, yeah, I know you're a thinker. But this book, it says, I'm my mother's daughter. I'm my mother's friend. I am my mother. And it talks about the stages that the mother and daughter relationship goes through. And
wow.
I'll come back to that. I want to also reference our conversation to the Jet magazine. You don't even know anything about Jet. I don't even know if they still make Jet. But there was an article that says mothers raise their daughters and love their sons. And so, what are you saying here? Yeah. What are you talking about?
Huh?
So anyway, the first book that I'm talking about, bringing you home from the hospital, they forgot something. What do you think that was?
A book on how to raise them?
A book, a manual. A manual, yes. Let me make you laugh before I can go any further. There was no, you didn't come with the manual.
Right.
And the doctor forgot to tell me that your umbilical cord would be falling off. And so there I was with my beautiful little baby girl that I am admiring. I'm about to tell you something too. And one day it fell off. And I left right there because I had no idea what was going on. I called my mother on the phone. I called my mom on the phone so fast, like, I don't know what this thing that fell off my baby. But I shared that because, again, no child comes with a manual, no care manual, no love manual. And so we grow into this relationship, you know, initially it's like fantasizing that you have this little baby until life really, motherhood really kicks in, you know, and that little baby with his or her own mind becomes demanding, and you're trying to be the wife, the mother, the cook, you know, and that can become very stressful. And so this book that talks about, you know, I'm my mother's friend. I'm my mother's daughter, kind of talks about that stage of raising your daughter, where you get to play, you know, tea and all the things you like to do. Oh my God. The dolls and the, you know, all of that. You get to do that because you're the daughter. You get to dress her up like a little princess, you know, the Mary Janes and the frilly socks and the one thing you came to hate, which was the crinoline slips, you know, but you try to protect her as, because she's your daughter and you want to protect her. And so you go through those stages. There's a bonding stage, you know, and then so easily sometimes the relationship shifts to where we're like friends. You know? I was mindful though not to try and be your best friend, because when you came home late, you were like 5 minutes late for curfew. So your best friend wouldn't have taken up that Nike and hit you.
Okay, Dad. I told you we'll be to, you know, expose everything, Dad.
I know, but you wore that Nike emblem for a while, y'all.
I was shocked. Like, I don't believe
Yeah.
with this sneaker.
But look, as the mother, right? I had to make a decision. You were 5 minutes late for curfew. So what do? Of course I'm saying, oh my God, I'm glad she's home. But then I had to decide, do I let that go? Or do you have consequences for not making your curfew? And I thought that the best, so that we didn't have to go through that again, was to make sure that there were some consequences for your decision making. And guess what? You never miss curfew again. Never. And then, so that's the difference from being the stages of being just a daughter and then going into the friendship. See, friendship, we talk about whatever you want to talk about. And then you hear some stuff that I want to talk about. You know, there's a conversation going on. Mm-hmm. Emotions are really at that state, they're kind of growing. And your body is growing. Your emotions, your emotions was up and down. But I kind of understood that. So there were times when we could talk about how you were feeling. And then honestly, there were some times I didn't want to talk about how you were feeling. I wanted you to go to your room and work it out. Because it's a difficult stage. Adolescence, oh my God, it's a difficult stage. But we worked through that. There were some rules that you began to defy. Definitely, you know, never the curfew again. But because of the work that I did, I needed to know every last name of your friends, where they lived at. that was my whole, it's like, one day I came home and you had a former client in the house.
Yes.
Yeah, so you know.
You were cool. Oh, yeah, I gotta know what's her name, what's his name, or what's their mama, daddy name, where they live at, where the parents grew up at. Like, I'm gonna really sit here. I'm 13. I'm gonna sit here and question this child, all of these questions. And long and behold, all this time I thought you was crazy, and long and behold,
I'm sure you did.
I bring home somebody. And I really liked the girl. Like, Dang, man. But see, I didn't understand.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't understand. And now that I have a child, I understand. And I think just listening to people and different conversations with women, and we talk about our relationships with our mother, that's the piece that sometimes daughters don't get.
Mm.
You have to understand that you are a parent, right? And you're just trying to protect and do the best that you can the way that you know how, and parent based on your experiences.
Well, that speaks to the last part of that book. Remember, I'm my mother's daughter. I'm my mother's friend. I am my mother, because so many things we said, oh, I'm never going to do that to my child. And lo and behold, before you know it, you kind of catch yourself because you're emulating your mom, or whomever parented you. And it just happens, And so you're absolutely right. We kind of parent according to what we know, how we've been parented. And unfortunately, not all of our parenting habits are good.
Mm-hmm.
And so I want to go back to that adolescent stage, where rather than being cooperative, it's just easier to be rebellious. While, oh my God, that was a time where, you want to do this hairstyle, you want to wear, we didn't do makeup. That was a no. Okay. But as I grew as a parent, I kind of understood that there were things that peer pressure, and I think that I impose something on you that it does bother me. Every when I think about it, I wish I hadn't done that to my kid. Excuse me for calling you my kid, but you're my kid, okay? And that is, I made you, or this was look, I grew up, so I can talk about my stuff as a mom, and I had this body complex,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I projected that onto you. And every now and then I catch myself, because I'll still do it. And that is, I was preoccupied with weight, not necessarily, the that glamour look, none of that, but weight. I don't know why. I haven't worked that out yet. But I was always on you about your weight. Like, hey, girl, or Ran, I think you gained too much weight.
I can wreck my nerves.
Yeah, but you know what? That could bring about a complex to your child. And
right.
so I'm sorry for that. I know you you got to the stage that you basically stopped paying me any attention. And you would say things like, well, I like it. And I'm glad that you had that you'd come into yourself and you could say, well, Ma, I like it. I'll be like, that's fat, No, that's so judgmental. I am so sorry, because I projected that onto you. And mothers do that, parents do that. We project our own stuff onto our kids sometimes, not really understanding how emotionally damaging that can be. Sometimes in raising you, and when I think back, and I have to go get my little checklist about what did I do to cause her to think a certain way? What did I do to contribute to how you choose relationships, how you parent? man, sometimes being a parent, you just go like, oh God. The thing about it is you're a parent for the rest of your life, you know?
Right.
So I really had to learn how to deal with that myself. And for me, you know, I'm still, I don't want to say obsessed, but I'm still weight conscious. Like, that's just, maybe I got that from my mom, who was 95 pounds, 100 pounds. And if she gained 5 pounds, she's like, oh, I had to lose these 5 pounds. What?
And as I grew up and began to really look at you as a person, a woman, you know, because when you're little, you just mommy. Oh, that's just mommy.
Right.
Mommy can wreck your nerves. Mommy just don't understand. And that's how disappointment can sink in, because that weight thing that you're talking about,
right,
that did bother me.
mm-hmm.
And I did battle inside.
Yeah.
I did. And I had to realize that, okay, there's something that happened in your life, and I had to understand that. And I had to say, she didn't mean to. A lot of things, like, mommy didn't mean to. It's just, she's human. That makes sense?
Absolutely.
And I had to forgive some of the things that you may not know that you have said or done. I had to forgive. I had to forgive. And now that we're older and you're being more open about your childhood, your life, how you grew up, it's like, oh, that's where that came from. Oh, now I understand.
Oh, I need a therapist.
Like, oh, I get it now. Like, today you shared that you was the only girl, one, and you were the responsible one between my uncles. Sorry, somebody called me. Your leadership started very early. So responsibility was in you, and being strong and determined. And I saw that in grandma, I saw that in Bert, I saw that, and your aunts, great aunts. So, like, I had to really stand back and just really understand. But the understanding didn't really come until you started to share.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You started to share and open up.
Right. When you asked the question about parenting and disappointments, I think that if parents would be honest, we've all kind of erred in our parenting, and trying to raise a daughter. The number one thing that you want for your daughter is safety. Like, you want your daughter to be safe, in all areas. And in doing so, and not that a father, especially your father, wasn't able to keep you safe, but I felt that it was my total responsibility to make sure that you were safe from the world. Okay, from the world, from the world. Okay, and so I know that, yeah, you were sheltered, and I didn't always give an excuse or tell you why, I did certain things the way that I did them. But I told myself that it was in your best interest.
Mm.
The bad side to that is so I'm doing what I think is best, and what's keeping you safe and what's keeping you healthy, And at the same time, those things are really harming you emotionally. That's why they should have sent a book with you. They just should have sent a book. But so you don't really get to converse about those things until mothers and daughters have this like heart-to-heart conversation.
Conversation, yes.
A conversation, and really you got to work on the relationship.
Right.
You know, as sometimes as a mother, and you know, my heart goes out to single parents because it's so much for them to do. And having one child is one thing, but you know, those mothers that have more than one child, it's a difficult task, you know? And so discussions, conversations, you know, sometimes is just avoided.
Right.
And it becomes easier to fill the house with electronics and PlayStations and Atari games and all those other things, you know, that, oh, they're fine, they're happy because they have everything they want. No, that's not a good assessment at all, because what you need is not always what you want. And what you need is a conversation, an explanation as to why I'm saying what I'm saying to you. But you know why that sometimes does not happen is because the conversation makes mommies vulnerable, because of if it's an honest conversation, then you begin to like peel back some of the layers of your own stuff. And you don't want to, you know, you can have healthy moments of self-disclosure where you really begin to explain to your daughter, well, this is how I got here. This is why I feel this way. This is why I think this way. This is what happened to me, you know, and
that made me cry.
And I don't know if how I handled our relationship was the best way, but it was sometimes for parents, it's all they know. And
right.
Yeah, it's all they know.
That's all they know.
And they kind of pray like, you know, I don't know anything else. And so that's that old saying is do what I say and not as I do, you know, or so many of those old cliches just won't make any sense at the time, because again, you know, mothers are really just trying to be a protector and protecting that child, her daughter, and herself, because if I give up too much, then my daughter may see the vulnerability, you know, and although being vulnerable to your daughter is a good thing because it opens up conversation, and it also gives a way to reconcile in a relationship, because like you just said, oh, now I understand, you know, and maybe that daughter can have some empathy, you know, and say, oh man, I understand now. And then you can't always undo the growing up stages, the things that happen, but you can start where you're at, because now we have a different relationship, and we can start right there. And I hope that whoever is listening to us, you know, this is not a professional, you know, conversation. This is just, and let me thank you, because I think this is so needed. And I'm glad you said, Mommy, just a candid conversation. We just don't talk, you know. And so this is exactly what we're doing. And I'm going to be as honest with Facebook. I'm like, I don't know why you want to put it on Facebook and every place else, you know, but it's okay, because the thought is, prayerfully, some mother will hear and some daughter will hear and see. You know, there was a lot of response, inboxing, and, you know, even calls about the first meeting that we had. And so here we are, keeping it real.
Keeping it real.
Yeah.
Keeping it real. I hope that this conversation, this subject right here, would open up a conversation for a mother and a daughter, and open up from a daughter's point of view. If your mother is still living and the relationship is not right, to begin to have some empathy, have some understanding that she's human, give some how can I say, like, try to understand her point of view. And I think that would be a great start of reconciling a relationship. A healing can begin. A healing can really begin.
Mm-hmm. You know, you did something that was, to me, so beautiful, and it's so needed. Last week you asked daughters to begin to speak into their mothers' lives. You know, some people may not have understood that, but what you were simply saying is that speak affirmation into your mother's life. You know, speak positivity into your mother's life. Speak things of thanksgiving into your mother's life, you know, because there's so many mothers that long to have a relationship, a healthy relationship with their daughters. And so many mothers that just want to feel loved and appreciated by their daughters, you know? And so thank you for that, because not only did it bless me, but it blessed other mothers. And someone, you know, you can go back, daughters began to post and to speak into their mothers' lives. You have no idea how encouraging that is to a mother, because mothers need to be encouraged as well.
Yes.
Yeah, things, particularly during these times, and single mothers trying to, you know, having economic problems, financial problems, housing issues, you know, now all the little kids are at home. You know, they may be your babies, but we love school. So I could never understand why people didn't send their kids to school. I just was like, what? So I wish you would do more of that, so that young people, daughters, can get an awakening to the love that they have for their mothers. Because sometimes, you know, not that we take people for granted, but we just never assume that one day that person may not be there. And so when we talk about reconciliation and having difficult conversations, the time is now. The time is now, you know. And I just think that for you and I, you know, and although there were some things that you questioned as you grew to understand some things. And as I begin to disclose some things about me, about, my growing up and as you just said, you got a better understanding. And so I think we have a great relationship. We have a lot of work to do, but I think we have a great relationship. One thing I like about our relationship is that we could just like put it out there. And let me tell you what you do when you get upset with your mother. You know, let me tell you what you do. Now I know you see me calling her. Answer the phone. Yeah, hello. You just like just look like you do like this. Give me 5 feet, Mom. give me space, Mom.
Space.
But look, I've been your mother for a long time, and it took me some time to realize that. Look, I'm talking about recently. Like, oh, this is how she deals with me, because with my personality, I overlook. My position was, I said it, I meant it. I had no idea that I needed to give you space. I had no idea that because I wasn't giving it, you took it.
I will take my piece. I will take it.
So, when that happens, now I understand, and I just say, okay, give us some space until it's something that I really need you to understand, and then I handle it a different way. But mothers just want to be able to feel that love and be able to sometimes still be the parent, although you're an adult. Sometimes it's difficult to cut that umbilical cord, to let you go out, because remember, in the back of our minds, we always just want to keep you safe.
I'm so glad we at that stage. Woo.
Yeah.
You were strong. You were very strong. And then your experience in your occupation didn't help either.
No.
You were real strong.
That probably played a lot too, because I've seen so much happen to kids, and as much as I can, I don't want to talk about my past work. I just want to keep it. I may use examples, but I don't really. But I do say this: parenting is a 24/7 job. Now, some parents may disagree and say, "Well, they're adults now." Yeah, but how often you lay in your bed thinking about, where is my child? What is my child doing? I wonder what she's thinking. I wonder how she's doing. Because one of the things that I did not want you to have about me, and unfortunately, you have it, and that is I lacked the ability to ask for help. I did not know how to ask for help. And you must have like tuned me out when I tried to give you that lesson. Because I wanted you to know that you could ask for help. You don't have to shoulder the world. You don't have to carry the burden by yourself, because it's the parent's responsibility to be there for the kid, for their children. Let me stop saying kid, I'm sorry. But what did you do? You never asked for help.
It was my environment. I like it. I like it.
being an only child, I know, but people think you're spoiled.
I'm not spoiled.
I know, being an only child, you know, they think that you would be, you know, automatically spoiled. But some of the values and how you were raised, you're not spoiled.
Not at all.
Not at all. No. You wouldn't allow yourself to be spoiled.
Nope.
That's kind of strange, but yeah.
It was my environment, and watching you, like different relationship that I'm in now, and he would say, you know, you just got to do everything. You're Superman woman. Like I would just take the bags, or something's broke, you fix it. What I'm gonna sit here and act and be a little whippy woman. And that goes back, and that goes back to even to the conversation that we had today when Granddad used to tell you, better not throw like a girl.
Yeah,
my whippy girl.
Yeah. Your environment, yeah, absolutely. Your mother, guilty as charged, you know, guilty. And that's not how I wanted you to be. I didn't want that for you. You know, I didn't want you to be. Now, I am not a woman's liver. No, never have been. But I wanted you to be a strong woman, but not a super strong woman, to the fact that if you needed help, that you would hesitate to ask, or that you would not allow yourself to have moments of vulnerability so that people could help. And relationship-wise, that you would be sensitive to understand that, you know what, if the person in my life is not moving fast enough, then I'm just going to exhale and give them a moment. But oh no, you have to be like your mother. Oh, move out the way, I get myself. I'll do it. You know, that's another conversation. That's another conversation. That's we don't want that's another conversation.
Yeah, we go.
But to the people that are listening, that will listen and see this, we did talk about this. What we hope to do is to have other mothers and daughters to join our conversation, you know, to shed light on their relationship, because a mother and daughter's relationship is a very unique relationship. There's no other relationship like a mother and daughter's relationship. There is none. And so when I ever since you hit me with this, it's just, I've been thinking about my mother and my relationship with my mother. So it's great.
It's what time is it? It's 8:49, 8:50.
Oh.
We're gonna end the conversation. You have any last words?
Allow yourself to be vulnerable, not abused. There's a difference. Vulnerable enough to share out of honesty your mistakes, your hopes, and your desires for your daughter, and be realistic about the world that our daughters now live, which is so totally different than how we lived in the world that we lived in. And so the challenges are so different, which means that the challenges for a parent, for a mother, is totally different as well. And for a single mothers that's raising their daughters, is a wonderful opportunity to embed in them, yes, safety and security, but the importance of being able to have a relationship, because just because we are the mother does not necessarily mean that we will have a relationship with our daughter. So I challenge mothers at all costs to work and to develop that relationship with your daughter. Not best friends, but a healthy relationship with your daughter. And I challenge daughters to follow what you say, speak into your mother's life.
Yeah, I challenge the daughters to recognize their mother, that she is a human being. She's a woman also. She has gone through some things in her own life. And though you may not agree with everything, and though you may even have some disappointments and hurts and just some things that you may be upset with your mother with, try to begin to understand that maybe she didn't know. Maybe she didn't know how to handle it. Maybe she's just doing really the best that she can. And try to begin to forgive your mother in your heart. Forgive. Pray for her. Speak into her life. Tell her she's beautiful. Tell her how I'm thankful. You know, maybe you may not have been raised the way that you have wanted to be raised, or maybe you had expectations on her that she didn't fulfill. But give her some words of encouragement to say thank you for what you have done, and the best that you have the best that you think that let's see, what you thought was your best. Thank you for giving what you thought was your best. And again, back to speaking to our life. They need it too. There's some hurts, there's some pains, there's some experiences that she has gone through also. So that's what I challenge the daughters. Speak. Thank you, Mother. I hope this conversation will open up a healing process for mothers and daughters, of reconciliations and restoration. Some restoration.
Reconciliation and restoration. Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So everyone, good night. Have a good evening. I speak to you, Mommy, in the morning.
What are you cooking for breakfast? Let's get off.
No, your grandson. I cooked grits. What I cooked this morning? I cooked grits this morning because he's a meat eater,
Okay.
and I try to.
Let's get off. Let's get off.
Oh, all right.
I know it's Candid, but it's enough.
Okay.